Good morning, everybody. This is Sunday, April the 19th in 2020. Feel good this morning. Can't wait to begin the yoga. Thank you for the comments and keeping me informed on how it's going. Trying out new microphones, and I have no idea how well they'll work until after it's done and I get up and check it. And then there's some lag periods by them before they even put it up. There's no sound. Um, anyway, I love it, and we will begin. And as always, it's very, very, very important that you do your own personal, heartfelt prayers. God's got a walk with you, and He's got a different walk with me, and is with everybody. It's always different. And so your prayers have to be from your heart and have to be what's going on in your life day by day. And that's the important things. So we will begin. We'll start with the introduction and thanking those that have brought us. I thank God for this wonderful method of prayer, this wonderful method of each of us individually praying out loud, of toning afterwards, and of body movements to stretch and heal our bodies all at the same time, healing our minds and our bodies. And I thank the generations that have brought this to us, from the house of Abraham, the house of David, from Jesus, his mother Mary, father Joseph, and Mary Magdalene, and Virginia Ellen, especially the one who wrote the book so that anybody in the world can practice Sacred Heart Yoga and pray this method anytime they want. Her book is called Sacred Heart Yoga. I thank all the generations. Now we're going to say the Sacred Heart Yoga prayer. You'll repeat it after me. I'll do little parts at a time. Beloved, I devote this practice this day to the evolution of my soul, to the fulfillment of my destiny, in service to the One. And I allow myself to be purified. As I rejoice in the kingdom of heaven and the love of God. And I give thanks for these blessings. These moments I share with my body and my spirit in oneness. And so it is. Amen. Now we're going to clear our energy fields of any distractions so that our minds stay focused on what we're really concerned with and where we can really pray from our hearts without distractions of anything that needs to be done today or anything going on in our lives. And the way we clear our energy fields, I like to think of it as letting my worries, I give them over to God and I let them blow away on the wind like a ribbon floating away. The way we do it in Sacred Heart Yoga is we take our hands up to the 12 o'clock position And we make a big circle like the arms of a clock over to the 3 o'clock, down to the 6 o'clock where our right knee is, over to our left knee, and then back up to the 9 o'clock and back up to the 12 o'clock. And you'll say the prayer after me. I clear my energy field of anyone or anything standing within. I bless them and I send them to the light. Om. Now we do, this is my favorite part of the whole thing, just right at the beginning. We're going to, Sacred Heart Yoga is all about serving God on our path, our destiny, however our walk with God is. And so we begin this by asking God, how may I serve you? And it always comes to me back in just one or two words. And then as I do the prayers, I develop what was meant for me to do in service. So we take our right hand over our hearts, over our diaphragms. And the prayer is, God, how may I serve you this day? Om. Now we're going to stand up, face outward with our palms facing out. And we'll say what came to us by the prayer, beginning with, I'll give you the beginning of the prayer and you fill it in. The beginning of the prayer is, my intention to serve is. Om. Now to make a contractual agreement in Aramaic, in Jesus's tongue, his original language, you say the words Amen 3 times, and it's a contract. It's your word. And so we're going to sing Amen 3 times to make this a contractual agreement that we really intend to hold this promise to God. So we sing it any way you want, whatever comes to you, the toning and the sounds, or what feels good to you. So we'll say it. Amen. 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 Now we're going to sit down and then lay back down on the mat and begin the body movements. In laying position, resting position with our arms out at our sides and our legs outstretched comfortably. And the first poses are the right side of the body. And this is considered the masculine side. What we consider with mom and pop, in our lives, with family, that the masculine side is more the knowledge, the knowing, the performing, the doing. And so we first start by bringing our right knee up to our chest, pulling it in. And the prayer, the beginning of the prayer is, Father, I love you for, and Father, I love you for. Om. Now we hold that right foot in our left hand and pull it over to our left thigh, letting our knee drop down, right knee drop down to the mat. And our right arm goes above our heads. And here the prayer begins with, Father, I love you, and Father, I thank you. Om. Now we switch hands and we take that right foot in our right hand, pull it down to our pelvis, and pull our right knee down towards the mat. Our left arm goes above our heads this time. And the beginning of the prayer is, Father, I love you. Father, I thank you. Om. Now we take that right foot up towards the heavens and hold it up there. And the prayer is beginning with, Father, I love you. Father, I thank you. Om. Now that right foot goes up into the air and falls out to the right side. And our arms go straight out to our sides from our chest, palms up. And the prayer begins with, Father, I love you, and Father, I thank you. Om. Now we take that right foot over, across our body, over to the left side, and we turn our heads to the right. And we keep our shoulders down on the mat. And the prayer is beginning with, Father, I love you. Father, I thank you. Om. Now we go back to resting position, our legs outstretched, our arms at our sides, and we start what's considered the feminine side of the body. So we pull our left knee up to our chest. And here the beginning of the prayer is, Mother, I love you, and Mother, I thank you for. Om. Now we take that left foot in our right hand, pull it over to our right thigh, let our left arm fall up above our heads this time, and let our left knee fall down to the mats. And the prayer begins with, Mother, I love you for, and Mother, I thank you for. Om. Now we switch hands. Our left foot goes to our left hand, and this time our right hand goes over our heads. Pull our left foot down to our pelvis. And the prayer begins with, Mother, I love you, and Mother, I thank you. Om. Now we pull that left foot up towards the heavens. And the prayer begins with, Mother, I love you. Mother, I thank you. Om. Now that left foot goes up towards the heavens and falls out to the left side. And our arms go straight out from our shoulders, extending out, palms up. And the prayer is beginning with, Mother, I love you. Mother, I thank you. Om. Now we turn our heads to the left this time, keeping our shoulders down on the mat, and take that left foot across our bodies over to the right side. And the prayer begins with, Mother, I love you, and Mother, I thank you. Om. Now we go back to resting position, our legs outstretched, our arms at our sides. And this time we join the left and the right side, the masculine and the feminine, as one God. And so we pull both knees up to our chest, and the prayer begins with, God, I love you, and God, I thank you. Om. Now we take our right foot in our right hand and our left foot in our left hand, and we put the soles of our feet together in our pelvis. And the prayer is, God, I love you, and God, I thank you for. Om. So now we pull our feet apart down near our pelvis, and here the prayer begins with, God, I love you, and God, I thank you. Om. Now we pull both feet up towards the heavens, pulling our knees down to the mat. And the prayer begins with, God, I love you, and God, I thank you. Om. Now we let our feet go down to the mats right near our pelvis, near our sit bone. This time our arms go outstretched to the side from our chest and our palms go down. We turn our head to the left and our knees go to the right, stretching and keeping our shoulders down on the mat. And the prayer begins with, God, I love you. God, I thank you. Om. Now we turn our heads to the right and move our knees over to the left side. And the prayer begins with, God, I love you, and God, I thank you. Om. Now we go back to resting position, our legs outstretched, our arms at our sides, and we put our hands under our sit bone. And we lean forward on our elbows and try to touch our heads back down to the mat. And this time the prayer begins with, God, I surrender to you. Oh. Now we go back to resting position, our arms at our sides, our legs outstretched, and we pull our left arm up towards the heavens and let it fall over to the right side. And we take our right hand halfway between our left elbow and left shoulder, and we pull it over farther. And this time the prayer begins with, God, I choose. Om. Now we switch arms. The right arm goes up towards the heavens and falls over to the left side. Our left hand goes halfway between our right elbow and right shoulder, pulling it over farther. And here the prayer begins with, God, I can. Om. Now we pull our arms down to our sides, back to resting position, and feet outstretched. And now we pull our feet up to our sit bone and let our knees fall out to the sides, forming a tabernacle, a house of God. And then we form a second tabernacle over our hearts, the tabernacle of our hearts, by forming our hands in prayer position over our hearts, lifting them up 2/3 of the way to heaven. In this tabernacle of our hearts, God gives us this wonderful chalice filled with every possible gift we could ever desire to be in service to God. And here we drink from the chalice whatever gift we want, or gifts, as many things as we want, whatever we need to be in service. So the prayer begins with, God, I drink from your chalice. Om. Now we take our hands still in prayer position over our heads, forming a tabernacle over our bodies. And here the prayer begins with, God, I thank you for my body and Om. Now we're going to start the anoint series. We'll do it 3 times. We take our thumbs to our foreheads and we anoint a gift from God. We take our thumbs down to our lips and we bless this gift from God and we thank God for it. No, and we anoint, we dedicate it in service to God. And then we take our hands over our hearts in prayer position, and we truly thank God for this wonderful gift that they've given us, that He's given us. And then we dive deep into our abdomens by pointing our fingers down. And here we pray that we fill our bodies with this wonderful gift from God. And then we make a big arch. We extend our fingers out and we go to the 3 o'clock position, pulling them up to the 12 o'clock position as we do this, and we tone at the end. So we'll begin the first anointing of anything you want, any gift from God, any desire, any peace, anything you need. So the prayer begins with, God, I anoint Om. Now we move our thumbs down to our lips. And here the prayer begins with, God, I bless, and God, I dedicate this in service to you. Om. Now we take our hands in prayer position over our hearts. And here the prayer begins with, God, I thank you for. Om. Now we point our fingers down and go back, extend our arms out. And the prayer is, God, I fill my body with this gift of. Om. Now we move our thumbs back to our foreheads. And the beginning of the prayer is, God, I anoint. Om. Now we take our thumbs down to our lips. And here the prayer begins with, God, I bless, and God, I dedicate it in service to you. Om. Now we take our hands in prayer position over our hearts, and the prayer begins with, God, I thank you for this gift of. Om. Now we take our fingers, bend them down, and extend them back to the rest to our foreheads in a big arch. And the prayer begins with, God, I fill my body with this gift of. Om. Now we take our thumbs to our foreheads for the third and final of the three. And the prayer begins with, God, I anoint this gift of. Om. Now we move our thumbs down to our lips. And here the prayer begins with, God, I bless this gift of, and God, I dedicate this gift of to service to you. Om. Now we take our hands down in prayer position over our hearts, and the prayer begins with, God, I thank you for this gift of. Om. Now we point our fingers down, and the prayer begins with, God, I fill my body, my humanness, my mind with the gift of. Om. Now we go back to resting position, our legs outstretched, our arms at our sides. And this time we take our right ankle over our left ankle, our right wrist over our left wrist, over our hearts. And here the prayer is, God, I thank you for your safety and protection and. Om. Now we go back to resting position, our legs outstretched, our arms at our sides, and we roll over on our side and we push ourselves back up into sitting position with our hands and our arms. And here we extend our right leg straight out in front of us. Our left foot goes over across our right knee. Our right arm goes on that left knee, and we turn to the left. Our heads, and we take our left arm behind our backs to support us. And here the prayer is desire. It begins with desire I am, desire I am, desire I am, I desire. Om. Now we switch legs. The left leg goes out in front of us this time. That right foot goes over across our left knee. We twist to the right, our heads and shoulders, and we hold that right knee with our left arm, and our right arm goes behind our backs to support us. And here the prayer begins with, will I am, will I am, will I am, I will. Om. Now we get up on our knees and put our hands in prayer position over our hearts. And the prayer begins with, God, I thank you for. Om. Now we kind of sway back, putting our weight on our feet, bending back a little bit, and then we go forward with our heads down onto the mat. It's called child's pose, where we sit on our heels and put our heads down on the mat. And there is no prayer this time. What we do this time is we listen and we feel God's love, God's wisdom, and we just feel. Om. Now we go back to sitting position. This time our right leg goes out to the right side. Our left foot comes up to the inside of our right thigh. And here the prayer begins with, God, I am. Om. Now we change legs. The left leg goes out to the left side. Our right foot comes up to the inside of the left thigh. And here the prayer begins with God, I am, or God, I will. Om. Now we go back into sitting position, our hands pointed, palms up on our knees. Our thumbs go to our middle two fingers, touching them. And we keep our back straight. We're going to bow to first our humanity, our humanness, and then we're going to bow to the divinity. And the way we do this is we bend at our pelvis and lean forward. And so we'll lean forward the first time, and the prayer begins with God, I bow to my humanness. Om. Now we sit back up straight. And this time we keep our back straight and we bow. And here the prayer begins with God, I bow to the divinity. Om. We sit back up straight. And now we come to the final step, the conclusion, where we feel and create a kingdom of light kind of above us. And the way we do this, and we can stay in it as long as we want, we'll ask just one question, but stay there and relax as long as you want in the kingdom of light. And the way we do it is we feel on the left side of our pelvis the wonderful white light of the mother's love, the mother's nurturing, the mother's constant creating of new cells in our bodies, of new cells in all living creatures, constantly recreating life over and over. This wonderful white light of the mother comes up through the left side of our pelvis, up into our legs, filling our legs with this white light of creating new cells, of energy, of love, filling our abdomens with this white light, our hearts being filled with this white light of the mother, and our lungs being filled, our throats, the white light coming up through our throats, up through our heads, and out the tops of our heads, up into the heavens. The mother's wonderful white light of love, and it showers down upon the whole earth. Now we feel the right side of our bodies, the right side of our pelvis, and we feel the Father's blue light of truly knowing his wisdom. This blue light of his loving, nurturing. And we feel the blue light fill our legs with the knowledge of how to recreate, how to survive and heal. We fill our bodies, our bellies with this wonderful blue light of knowledge and coming up through our hearts, filling our hearts with every bit of knowledge that it needs to keep us healthy and keep us going, filling our chests with the knowledge that's needed. in God's wisdom, filling our throats with this blue light, this wisdom. The blue light goes up through our heads and out the tops of our heads and goes up into the heavens. And this knowledge, this wonderful blue light showers down on the whole earth, all of God's creations. Now we can step up into the light above our heads. And here we ask just one question, and we can stay here as long as we want. The question is, God, what is it that I need to know?